Before we get into the video, shout out to our sponsors Subside clothing brand. Subside is a new, up-and-coming clothing brand established in Bristol that is looking to add something different with their clean designs that celebrate their roots. You can find the link to all their social medias in the description of this video. From the Terrace Podcast and Subside clothing brand, it's a match made in heaven. Support the boys, support the grind, shop Subside. Hello and welcome back to the From the Terrace Podcast and to another edition of Champ Talk. Me and Regan are here to take you through all the Good Friday fixtures and preview this Easter Monday. We are recording in the morning. We better get this one up quick before I think it is Watford Borough treating us to a nice early kickoff today. But first, Regan, let's talk about the Good Friday fixtures. And the first one we're going to touch on is Cardiff 0, Nottingham Forest 1. Garner putting in another great display, scoring the winning goal. He's looking like quite the loan signing from Manchester United. I guess we slagged off Forest before this and we praised Cardiff, and we both actually said in our final rounds we think Cardiff were the team to get into the playoffs. I think we're retracting. Like we said, we can't keep changing our minds with every game, but it wasn't a great week. Wasn't a good Friday for them, was it?
Well, on the results term, no. When you look into the game itself, you could say that Cardiff should have taken more away from the game. They just missed a lot of chances. I think they had near to like 20 shots, but I think they only managed to come up with about 2 or 3 on target, which obviously for a promotion chasing team is the exact opposite of what you need. So that's pretty rubbish. And like you said, not the best start. I'm not going to give credit to Nottingham Forest because I don't like them. But I think Cardiff need to step up. Luckily, they've got Sheffield Wednesday next. So if it was a tough game, I would fear for them. But I expect them to go back to getting some form because you're coming to the end of the season. This is what you need. You need constant results, especially as you're one of the chasing pack. And this is not the best start, but hopefully they can quickly turn things around because they need to.
Yeah, we spoke about how we think the final run-in for Cardiff, the reason they may make those playoffs is Nick McCarthy's ability to nick wins. That side's foundations and core that they had a couple of years ago as well. A lot of it's still there in terms of they can nick games 1-0. They've obviously lost this one 1-0, but you feel like that at least is a good sign in there that is the approach they're going to take, and that is the one that we think will be successful for them. I think it just relies on, like you said, with the shots on target. That's worrying. I think they just need to get Kiefer Moore firing again. Hasn't been as prolific of late, but he has got a lot of goals this season. He's been a big person for them. So I think it's about getting Kiefer Moore firing. As long as he starts putting away some chances, the other players help him out a little, then Cardiff will be fine because they're never going to concede too many goals. But it's a worrying first result back, because it feels like the first result back from international break, especially for that final run-in, sort of signifies how your run-in's going to go, doesn't it? It does feel like it is a big statement. The ones who come out winning, you're like, right, they're going to put a result for you together, whereas the ones who lose or draw, maybe they're the ones who are going to fade away. A bit like how Nottingham Forest did last season in that final run-in, ironically. But yeah, Cardiff losing by 1-0. I don't think it's the end of the world, but they obviously have to pick up points soon because they'll be cut adrift from the likes of Bournemouth and Reading soon enough. The next game we're going to talk about, Regan, is in the race for top 2, and maybe after this game we could say they're no longer involved in the race for top 2. It is Birmingham 1, Swansea City 0. Obviously Birmingham, it looks like that could be a result, Regan. We said it only takes 1 or 2 results and they're away from it. We just didn't know where they were potentially coming from. That could be a result that keeps Birmingham safe, because you'd expect them to maybe pick up at least another 3 points in the final run-in. Despite the call that I made, but I thought they were going down. So that's a brilliant prediction. In terms of Swansea, flat, gave away 2 penalties, although the second one was harsh. I've seen Swansea fans on Twitter finally taking to Twitter saying some of them want Cooper to go. Some of them saying they've got away from their philosophy of being a good footballing side, and now it feels like they've got towards the business end of the season and they've sort of reverted from everything that made them good. They are a team who just defends now, and it's not working for them. And Swansea don't look like the same team they were earlier in the season, do they?
No, it doesn't feel good, really, does it, Swansea fans? Where you're in the game and then you lose it in the last couple of minutes because of a penalty. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? But it's not good when it happens to them. Yeah, this is. I'm not going to make early calls because it's the first game. It could just be they just need a bit more time to get back because they've been away for a while. But this could be like a Nottingham Forest of last season. They had such a good run, and I know there's a massive time difference. Nottingham Forest had a few months, and this is only 3 weeks. But Swansea do have quite a few tough games, and I actually said that if they do need to put a run in, this is an easy game in comparison to some of them, and it shows our confidence that I even said I can't see Swansea win this game because there's just something about them. That's exactly what happened. Like you said, they looked incredibly flat for the majority of the game, and for the team that was down there, they let Birmingham control the game for most parts, which is not really what you want to do, especially a team that's fighting for something as well as you are, even though it's at a different end of the table. So yeah, it's really not a good result, and especially with Watford winning as well. Yeah, they're just being cut further and further adrift. And our prediction about who the top six is going to be, who's the top two, etc., that gap is almost becoming unreachable, I suppose. Now the top two is getting further and further away from Swansea.
Yeah, and another team that's getting further and further away from is Brentford. They drew 1-1 at Huddersfield, going down 1-0 very early in the first 5 minutes to a calamitous goal. Feels like it's all too familiar with Brentford conceding goals like that. They can look in control for the rest of the game, like they did. Once again, they look good in control. But if you're conceding goals like that, you're gonna give up football matches. Regan, is this a case of? I mean, if Brentford win their games in hand on Watford, they're still 6 points behind. They're still only 6 points behind with Watford still to play. I guess mathematically, it's not actually out of reach. But is this a Brentford team that you can see catching Watford? Any chance? Do you give them any chance left now?
Yeah, I do give them some chance because it's a very similar team to what Man United charged at the back end of last season. Apart from you don't have the two star players up front, you've arguably just got the one. Um, but what I saw, because I don't know why, but I ended up watching this game, and for the second half, and it was just so flat, and it was just so dull at most of the points. And the first thing that came to my head was, this is a game, the way it's playing, that suits Huddersfield because it's slow, it's boring, there's not really many chances, it's a midfield game, and Huddersfield really took control, took possession at that point, and I didn't expect that from Brentford because we actually both said we expect Brentford to control a lot of the ball, keep it fast tempo, and then keep applying pressure. And they didn't really do that for most parts, and yeah, the Watford game, you can consider it a top 2 6-pointer. But the way Watford are playing now and the way Brentford are playing, it's a huge mountain to climb. And personally, I don't see it happening because it's not a knock to how good Brentford are, it's just how good Watford are at the moment. But yeah, I'm not going to rule it out because weirder things have happened. But yeah, it just like Swansea, it's getting harder and harder and more impossible as the weeks go by.
Yeah, I think they're making it hard for themselves. You've drawn, if you think about, they've dropped 6 points across the Nottingham Forest derby and Huddersfield game here. 3 games they should be winning. If you get those 6 points, I said they're really not far off Watford at all. Mathematically, not impossible. Watford are a team who are fallible, although it might not look like it right now. They are a team that could lose a couple of games. You never know. They only scrape past Sheffield Wednesday, Friday. We'll see how they get on against Borough when this video has come out. But I think the thing with Brentford you touched on there is flat. And I think I've been thinking about it a lot the last couple of days. And Regan knows that I've lost my sort of motivation for the season. Not because like this, it might seem like so ungrateful for where our team are. Well, I know we're going to get playoffs. It's still a really good opportunity to get to the Premier League. I don't think we'll do it. But I just think this team's have gone flat and gone tired. And you know what? You can't blame it when you actually think back to last season. The running there to put it together, and how mentally draining that running would have been, and losing to Fulham in the playoff final, and then to, in the COVID circumstances, have a new season start about 6 weeks later. It's not a surprise they've run out of steam, and I think that's just what it is. The team isn't playing badly in terms of keeping the ball. They're not playing badly they're they just don't have energy anymore. I think that's the issue. There's just no energy there. There's no high tempo of how Brentford are renowned of playing. And I think they've just lost a bit of their mojo, and the injuries haven't helped. So obviously that squad's been a bit thinner this season. So I just think they're tired. Thomas Frank admitted to in the international break he took a week off personally because he was mentally drained. It's just I think they've run out of steam. We'll make the playoffs. They're still a decent enough side. Will pick up enough points to get into playoffs. I don't think they'll win them. And I think Brentford are a team who it may seem like the end of the world for Brentford fans if we're going to lose the likes of Rico Henry, Josh Da Silva, and Tony at the end of the season. But maybe this squad and maybe the coaching staff as well, we'll wait and see, needs to be freshened up a little bit. And that's what this because you can't. Last season was the year Brentford should have got promoted, and I think everyone agreed on that. And this season, they've put in a brilliant effort. The squad, the coach staff put in brilliant effort. I just think they're tired, Regan, and I don't think they're going to catch Watford. Although I do still think they'll finish above Swansea because, like I said to you, and you've briefly mentioned, I'm not a million miles away from predicting Swansea doing a Nottingham Forest. There is potential there. Just Cardiff might actually have to win some football matches for that to happen. Regan, predictions. We've spoke about the Good Friday games. It was a bad Friday for a lot of clubs. How did the predictions go? Was it a Good Friday for either of us?
No, don't be ridiculous. No, a bad Friday all round, I guess you could say, because out of the 12 games, like I say, 50%'s all right. So 6 each would be nice. No, we got 6 combined for the Good Friday, 3 each, which is amazing. Based on the fact we got Bournemouth and Borough correct. We got Watford, Sheffield Wednesday. Good old QPR doing the bits for me. And don't know why I predicted Luton against Derby, but oh well, here we go. And that surprisingly, that is actually it. Out of all the games, we got all of the others completely wrong. Not even one of us got any of them right. So well done to us. So yeah, three all on the week. And finally, after feels like it's been weeks of me failing to take my chance, I finally joined the 200-point club. And you're almost there, Bill. You're on 188. I'm on 200 and the extra one, just to show my position as well. One.
All right. He's all very confident. He's all very cocky, but he knows how much I've caught him up in the last few weeks, and he knows I'm going to catch him by the end of the season. A chance for me to do that is the predictions Monday, Easter Monday football. We love it. Unfortunately, Brentford aren't involved. We'll get onto their prediction there. That'll be the last one. It's what a brilliant time of the year it is, unless your football team is not winning games. Regan, the early kickoff we've alluded to already is Middlesbrough versus Watford at the Riverside. Do you give Neil Warnock's Borough any chance against this relentless Watford team?
A part of me wants to, because I could see this being quite a close affair and possibly being 0-0 in all honesty, because it's Neil Warnock and Watford do like to shut opposition out. But the way Middlesbrough got off after the restart was terrible. They're really, really bad against Bournemouth, I've got to say. And even though Watford didn't look very inspiring against Sheffield Wednesday, once again, it'll be silly for me to go against them because they're just winning games at the moment. So I'm going to go for Watford again.
We go for Watford, and it'd be, like you said, it's silly to go against it. A Borough, a team that can cause some problems. And you know what? They're one of the teams I do actually fancy in the division, although inconsistent, to give Watford a tough time of it. I remember actually watching this. This was the first game of the season. These are the replicas of the first game of the season, I believe, this fixture list. And I remember looking at a Borough team and thinking, they're not great, but Warnock's got something out of them here. And they did do that in the end, and they gave Watford a tough time of it. So, unfortunately, I'm still going to go for Watford, though. You can't bet against them. They are winning game after game. Next one is Blackburn versus Bournemouth and Regan. Bournemouth have started their run-in with a win. Is that a sign of things to come?
Yeah, definitely. Well, in this game anyway, I'm not going to spoil it, but yeah, I said in our prediction for the Blackburn Wycombe game that this could be a good thing, a good time for Blackburn to get a few results after a bad few weeks. And what do? You do the complete opposite of what I say, and you lose to the worst team in the league, and you come up against a very good team. So obviously, I'm not going to back you. So I'm going to back Bournemouth.
Yeah, I think with Blackburn, not only have they lost a couple of their key players, you've got Stack injury, you had Armstrong not playing, those likes of that. You've also now got, there's nothing to play for anymore. The season faded away, and Bournemouth have got everything to play for. They're the better team. I'm going to go for a Bournemouth win. Next one is Coventry versus Bristol City. This is another case of one team who's got a lot to play for and one that hasn't so much. In this time, it is Coventry in the relegation battle. They are really sucked into it now. They are close to Rotherham. They've got to win games like this because Bristol City, you couldn't really argue against them being on the beach a little bit. Nigel Pearson will be trying to figure out things ahead of next season, you would have thought. So, does that mean Coventry have got an edge here?
Well, it's me. And since Coventry are playing at St Andrews, then they automatically have an edge from me. However, that absolute thrashing by QPR, I don't think I've seen that the majority of the season or a long time. QPR actually control a game from start to finish. It was honestly, I had no idea where that came from. And Bristol City, don't remember the last time Stoke scored 2 past people, a team while keeping a clean sheet.
Well, Regan, that was Bristol City's 7th home defeat in a row.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really need to say anything else. It's Coventry, it's a St Andrews, and even though the last time they did that, drew against Wycombe are in a better form than Bristol City. So I'm going to go for Coventry.
Unfortunately, I'm going to stick with Regan again. One more. I think Coventry will win this game. Bristol City just on the beach, looking poor. Nigel Pearson hasn't had too much of an impact. You can't blame him. Like, he's going to probably be thinking ahead for next season. But Bristol City don't look like a team that's too cohesive. They don't look like a team that looks that inspiring. And that's the exact team Coventry will want to come up against to try and get 3 points to lift them away from the relegation zone. So I'm going to go for Mark Robbins' Coventry as well. The next one is Luton versus Barnsley. Barnsley started their run-in with a draw against Reading. Not a bad point. Luton losing to Derby. Luton, another team who I feel like they've got little to play for. Barnsley are going to come out the traps on this one, surely, aren't they?
Yeah, I do have one of those feelings again because it's a midweek kind of, I suppose, game. It's at Kenilworth, etc. However, I mean, you could consider Barnsley a little bit lucky to get away with a draw with Reading, based on the fact that based on the penalty miss, etc. No, it might just be me again saying that I like them and I prefer them and I hope they do well, but it seems that against teams that really like to attack the majority of the game, Luton seem to struggle quite a bit. And because of that, I'm going to go for Barnsley.
I'm going to go for Barnsley too. Enough said on that one, I'm afraid. Nottingham Forest versus QPR. The City Ground, Forest off the back of a 1-0 win. QPR off the back of a 3-0 win. QPR one of the more informed sides in the division. It's an interesting matchup, isn't it? It feels like it's a mid-table clash. It's not going to mean too much, but it's two clashing styles, it feels like. How do you reckon it's going to go?
I think it's going to be a very good game, in all honesty. Weird to think that if QPR win this and like Stoke and Millwall will lose, QPR are a top 10 team in the Championship. I never thought I'd say that in a million years, but here we go. I can't look past them. It might just be because I don't like Nottingham Forest, and it's weird because I may prefer QPR, their style of play at the moment, at least, to Nottingham Forest. So I can't not back them after a 3-0 win. So I'm going to say QPR again.
I'm going to go for a draw in this one. I think Forest, although haven't been blowing away as sides like QPR have been in recent weeks, and you've got to commend QPR for that. They've done very well. I feel Forest picking up some sort of more Houghton-type results. They did the job on Brentford. They've done that job on Cardiff. Garner is in fine form. He looks a great player. I think Forest might frustrate QPR here a little. I'm not going to go for a win, but I will go for a draw in this game. Actually, I feel like Forest have got enough in them at the moment, and they're doing all right. Reading versus Derby, Regan at the Madejski. Derby probably just wanted maybe one more win just to secure that sort of championship status for another season. Reading obviously coming off the back of that draw at Barnsley. Not the prettiest game. Reading could have won it. That Lucas João miss was vital. But Reading with probably more to play for a little bit, you'd say, with Derby, because you'd expect Derby to stay up. So is it going to be in terms of Reading controlling this game and winning it, Regan?
No, I don't think so. Don't get me wrong. Based on the last two games, all Reading need to do is take the many chances they get, and they'll be in a lot stronger position than where they are now. I've never seen a team waste so many good chances as Reading. But I can see Derby frustrate them again, similar to what QPR did. And I am going to, it's going to put Derby a little bit towards safety, and it's not going to do Reading a lot of good. But I'm going to say they're going to share the points, and it's going to be a draw.
I can see the prediction where you're going with that. Derby are a team who like to frustrate. But for me, Reading are going to win. I feel like they're going to be boosted by some of the teams around them dropping points. Obviously, Bournemouth won, but Cardiff dropped points. Swansea dropped points. I feel like Reading may have... Like we writ off Reading a little bit because they've got a hard fixture list and they're hard running. Because they've got a hard running, games like this, they're going to know are going to have to count even more. And I feel like they're going to make the most of it. So I'm actually going to go for a Reading win. And I feel Lucas Yao will definitely atone for that miss he did at Barnsley. The next one, Regan, is League One football galore. Remember when they played out that game where the ball's on the pitch for about 35 minutes at the beginning of the season? Hopefully it's a bit of a better spectacle this time. But you've got to feel this is a game Rotherham have to win.
Yeah, they do against believe it or not, an all right performing Wycombe team. They might be in a little bit of a purple patch right now because 4 points from 2 games is probably, it's amazing for them. So congrats.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, this is quite a tough one to call because I really expected Rotherham to come out all guns blazing to start off with, and the Millwall result was anything but that. I'm gonna hate to say it, but I'm actually going to go for Wycombe on this one, which is horrible to say, but I think Wycombe are going to win it.
I completely disagree, actually. I think, Rotherham did lose 1-0 to Millwall, but it's no disgrace losing 1-0 to Millwall. They're an all right team. And Rotherham are better than Wycombe, I think, all over the pitch. And I feel they'll know the importance of this. And I don't think Rotherham are going to go down with a whimper. They may go down, but I definitely don't think with a whimper. Paul Warren won't allow his side to do that. He'll know the importance of this game. Wycombe have got to win, and Wycombe have failed to really put back-to-back wins together all season, really. I think they might have done it once. So I'm going to go for Rotherham in this one. I think they're going to control the game. I think they're going to win it quite comfortably, actually, as well. Contrary to your thoughts. Stoke versus Millwall, a bit of a dead rubber. Millwall got a chance of throwing a little playoff thing together, but very much doubt it. Stoke off the back of a decent win. Nick Powell's in fine form, obviously. How do you see this going? And is Nick Powell going to stay at Stoke? Do you think he's maybe got... There's no potential for him to revitalise his career and move on?
There's definitely potential for him because he's shown quite a few glimpses this season while Stoke have been struggling. Just how good he can be in the heart of a midfield. But for the game, these two teams are just so similar. They're on the exact same amount of points and they play very boring. And even though they both won their last 2 games, which is credit to them. But I think when they come up against each other, they're just going to cancel each other out. And although if I was to pick a team that was going to win, I'd probably say Stoke. I am going to say Stoke. Yeah, I am going to say Stoke. Yeah, I was going to say draw, but I'm going to say Stoke.
Yeah, well, I'm going to go for a draw. Regan has convinced himself that the Stoke and Potters may win at the Bet365, but I am going for a draw. I think, like he said, both sides will cancel each other out. Very similar seasons indeed. The penultimate game on the Monday is Swansea versus Preston. Swansea obviously in that poor form, like we mentioned. Preston without a gaffer at the moment, being linked to Fortuna Düsseldorf's manager Uwe Rosler, formerly of Brentford, Wycombe and Leeds United. That would be an interesting appointment. We'll probably get more views on that if it does happen in a later champ talk. Swansea, this is probably one of the oppositions they would have asked for, is it not, if to get back on track?
Yeah, but I bet you that result against Norwich for Preston has kind of shaken them up a bit, Swansea. But, hang on, they can put good results together, even though they scored with the last kick of the game. I'm going to... This is a game I can see Swansea win, and when I usually can see Swansea win, they do win. So I'm going to say Swansea.
Now, I want to go for Swansea. This is not how we play this game. I don't want to go for Swansea, but I think that's what's going to happen here. But like Regan said, Preston managed to stick in there, get the draw against Norwich. I need to win these predictions here. Me and Regan have agreed on a lot this week. So I'm actually going to go for a draw. I think Preston could nick a draw, and hopefully they do. Like we said, there is a chance there, although I think Swansea probably will win this game. I'm going to go for a draw because Swansea are in bad form, looking like they could do a Forest, and I wouldn't put it past them to completely crumble. So I'm going to go for a draw in that game. And finally, on the Monday, is Sheffield Wednesday versus Cardiff. This is last chance saloon for Sheffield Wednesday, is it not?
It would be if Sheffield Wednesday would have been good, really, against Watford. I would have given a bit of a chance. They were in the game for quite a bit. I know they had quite a few chances, but once again, failing to take them. I think. Well, yeah. I don't know why I'm questioning this so much. This is a game Cardiff needs to win, and when Mick McCarthy needs a team to bounce back, similar to what Neil Warnock, they usually do deliver. So I'm going to go with Cardiff.
Yeah, I think the thing around Sheffield Wednesday is they can make things hard for you when they want to, when they want to put that effort in. But Mick McCarthy knows how to deal with that in the Championship. He's been there, he's done that. The teams have tried to make it hard for him in the past. I just feel like this Sheffield Wednesday side, like they could have got something out of that Watford game, and they didn't, and they're not getting things out of games they could easily. And it's just not a good sign. That it's really not a good sign because they're not going to play well every week either. And if they can't pick up points in games where they're playing all right, then you do worry for them. So I'm going to go for a Cardiff win too. Finally, we have the last two games on the Tuesday night, and the first one is Brentford versus Birmingham. Birmingham obviously at the back of that win, but that is not secured their safety, but they're very close to it. They probably just need one more win, you'd suspect. And Brentford have to win every game now, you'd thought, or at least along those lines. How do you think this one's going to go, Regan?
Another tough one because Brentford, no matter what season it is, they always seem to struggle against Birmingham.
Yeah.
Because I remember that first game of the season, and when we did Champ Talk, you were absolutely gutted, and that they got off to such a bad start. But I do think that the fact that Birmingham have got an early win in this run in, I think they may put their mind at ease a bit, and I don't think they'll go out and just go full guns blazing like they did against Swansea. Meanwhile, Brentford, like you said, they now have to win basically every single game, and Brentford do like to score, and I don't think we've really seen Birmingham like go behind or concede and then put in a really good performance, especially against a kind of defensively strong Brentford team. So I think at the moment this suits Brentford more than Birmingham, and I think the pressure's a little bit off Birmingham at the moment after that win. So I'm going to say Brentford.
Yeah, it's an interesting point you make about Birmingham, how there is less sort of emphasis on them to get result now. Obviously, like don't get me wrong, they want to be safe as soon as possible, but that win was massive for them, and it is a big 3 point, especially with Rotherham losing. But like I said, even if Rotherham beat Wycombe like they have got, and then Birmingham lose, then they're straight back into it. So they do need to. They can't fully relax. In terms of Brentford, like I said, I just think Brentford run out of steam, and there's no knock on the team. Like I'm not trying to be negative. I just think they've run out of steam a little bit, and I think Brentford could struggle again actually. And I'm actually going to go for a draw in this one. Unfortunately, I think that we're probably on for another 1-1 draw. I think it's only a matter of time for Ivan Toney scores another goal, so that'll probably happen. But yeah, Brentford just looking not completely convincing right now. I could be completely wrong. Usually when I start to give up a little bit on Brentford, they'll go and thump a team 5-0 and give me some hope again. So that is they're perfectly capable of beating Birmingham, but I'm actually going to go for a draw, I think. And I think Birmingham are going to make it a tough game for them with Lee Bowyer, because I think Lee Bowyer is going to press a little bit more. I think a Karanka football would have actually probably suited Brentford a little bit. But as we've seen, if you try and take the game to Brentford, you can very much do that at the moment. And finally, Regan, the last game is Norwich versus Huddersfield. Huddersfield obviously giving Brentford a tough test. Norwich, a couple of draws back to back. They're not exactly cruising to the, well, I guess they're not going full speed towards the title, but they're cruising towards it, is what I was meant to say. They don't need many more points now. Preston off. Huddersfield, they should beat them at home, really, shouldn't they?
Yeah, this goes to say I'm going to back Norwich. I think it's just because they were a bit complacent towards the end of the game against Preston, which cost them. But I expect them to. I said this about Brentford, and look what happened. But I expect them to put their stamp on the game pretty early, if I'm being quite honest, because Norwich like to get out the traps pretty early, and I think that they'll see off this game from quite early on, and I expect them to win.
Yeah, I fully expect Norwich to win too. And that comes with the end of our predictions. That is the Easter weekend football over and done with. I'll try and get this up before the Borough-Watford game, but if you're watching this afterwards, hopefully we got our predictions right, I guess. So that is the end of this episode of Champ Talk. Remember, if you did enjoy the video, like it, subscribe to the From the Terrace podcast YouTube channel, leave us a rating on iTunes, follow us on the Spotify, and me and Regan will see you in the next Champ Talk.